All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital. This is the nightly strategy podcast for, let's see, October 4th, 2021. So I wanted to share this picture of one of my favorite players. Well, they're all my favorite players. This is Jillian Schiffer, and she is a senior at West Point, and she's going to be commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Army at the end of this academic year. And she played for me when she was 8 years old uh, with her older sister Annie, who was 10, and she played on our U10 team, 2 years young, but she was amazing. Real force of nature. We called her G2 because we had two Jillians, and she was just a ball of energy. Well, one of the things that we did is use the words of power phrases to start programming our girls for success and how we wanted them to play the game. Things like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And we taught them the big five of our club, which are these. Uh, the five important things: play hard, have fun, support the team, love the game, respect the other team and ref. And we said that at every practice, and we reinforced it at every game. And we scored ourselves on the basis of how well we thought we were doing on those five things. We didn't care about the scores, and we didn't care about the standings. We wanted to do those five things, and we reinforced them all the time. We reinforced things like, how do we clear the ball? Wide and up the side. Do we ever cross in front of our goal? No, never. Uh, Inside goal side, and beat one person back. I mean, you had to hustle so that you could get in front of one other player on the way back. So you just had to beat one player. Well, 15 years goes by, and now she's graduating, and her parents asked all her coaches to send a little, pep talk and to put together for her last senior game. They were going to surprise her, and so I did, and they laughed, and as they remembered, man, we still have those phrases burned into our head. We hear her using those on the field: wide and up the side, inside goal side, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I said, yeah, those power phrases program your mind to achieve certain things, to play in a certain way, and the power of those power phrases really matters. It works that way in trading too, by the way. Well, the other funny thing was that I'm putting together some leadership lessons for all my players and their parents, and part of the Leadership Academy program I'm building out. And I'm going to make that available to the trading community as well, as part of a whole slew of courses that we're putting together on mindfulness, emotional intelligence, creativity, systems thinking, craftsmanship, how to build good teams, the mastermind effect, all the things that I think will support people in developing robust solutions in their local area, whatever it is that they're working on. And so I got the soccer players sending me their little lessons learned from a life of soccer that they learned in our academy. So Jillian's going to send me some notes. And then Paige Kauna, who was a player that was a contemporary of Jillian, completed her undergrad work at Ohio State University a year early, graduated with honors from Johns Hopkins University in a program of international relations. And she's just started work with a international task force to combat human trafficking in the world. And I asked her to send me some notes on what she had learned from soccer that helped her become such an amazing success in the world. And the first thing she said was, Coach, when you taught me slow is smooth and smooth is fast, I've lived my entire life that way, and it has been a trustworthy guide in everything that I do. And she's going to go on to do amazing things in the world. And so I'm no longer surprised when the words that we use to frame our world make a huge difference in our lives and in the lives of the youngsters that we're developing. The importance of the Leadership Academy is that we're helping prepare kids to become successful 20-year-olds through soccer. And then those lessons are going to make them successful beyond, because the world belongs to 20-year-olds as they're entering their college, years, figuring out what they want to do. They have this world under their control, and we're just caretakers of it. And so we owe them a better world than what we're giving them. And so that's what's motivating me to work hard and prepare these leadership lessons. But I wanted to just share with you the power of words. And I talked a little bit about that this weekend when I gave the little impromptu speech on I feel just like a grain of sand. I'm only a grain of sand on the beach. And if you haven't read that or listened to the video, I'd encourage you to think about it. I've gotten some good feedback from the crew on that. But those small phrases really do matter. For instance, when we say failure to fail further is information, that's an important phrase. That's a power phrase. When price is failing and then it fails to fail further, in other words, it stopped failing, that's information. It hasn't started to go up yet, but failure to fail further is a power phrase. Its counterpart is failure to follow through. Failure to follow through. When you expect it to move and to continue and then it doesn't, it may just be stalling, but that's information. So both of those are premonitions of possible reversals after significant trends that got your attention. And you expect it to fail further, but it doesn't. That's failure to fail further. And then if you expect it to follow through because of reasons and feelings and hope, and then it doesn't, failure to follow through is a signal that your sniper needs to be activated and that you got to be ready to execute the 2-hour battle drill and be relentless in your focus at those critical states. Critical state is a power phrase. I'm looking for critical states. A higher than normal probability of a larger than normal move in either direction in a shorter period of time with favorable reward to risk ratios that are manageable. That's the critical state. That's what I'm looking for all the time. That is a diamond of an idea. Just like a little grain of sand, when you look at it closely enough. Each of these are unique crystalline structures that have been rendered down to their indestructible essence. The entire mountain is contained inside each little grain of sand, the mountain that gave it birth. And it was the forces of air, earth, fire, and water that ground it down to this polished form, that absolute essence, the indestructible self. Now, if you look closely at that one in the middle, you can see the universe through that, looks like a little wormhole. Isn't that beautiful? I think about the space in between those two. What is that deep connecting dark matter that's that collective unconscious that holds all of these things in its loving arms? That's what. Luis asked me, what is the background logic for slow is smooth and smooth is fast? And this applies to every skill that I've ever tried to learn, whether it's in the Army, in judo, in jiu-jitsu, in wrestling, in hockey, in basketball, in baseball, in trading, of every type. That our skill begins to break down at whatever skill level you're at. Your skill begins to break down as you get towards maximum speed of execution. Let me see if I can. There's a chart I want to draw. So as speed increases going this way, and then your skill at executing it flawlessly is increasing this way, there is sort of a region of slow, normal, fast, and maximum Okay, so let's just call that slow, noticeably slow, something like normal speed, as fast as you can reasonably go, and then your max. And when you're going at normal, and so this is, there's some kind of breakdown in here. When you're going at normal speed, you might be in here with a certain amount of errors, but you can generally execute. When you go a little bit faster, your skill level comes down to here, but because you're going faster, you can sometimes get past a player. So if I'm player X and I'm going against player Y and I have this lane to go through and I'm trying to get to the goal, right? If they didn't move and I could just slowly go around them, I would never go out of bounds and I would never lose the ball. So if I go really, really slow, I just walk past them, I'm good. But they actually have some side-to-side motion. So as I start making this move, they are starting to close that gap. And now if I go slower than them, they stop me. So I can't just... I'm very, very skilled when I'm slow. But it's usually not effective because they can react. So I have to be faster, and I can accept the decay of skill a little bit because it gives me a competitive edge. If I go as fast, if I go at a near top speed, then I'm going to get past them more often, but now I might lose the ball out of bounds or lose the ball to them or lose the ball and it goes out of bounds this way. But I get past them. So then if I go at my absolute maximum, this curve is way down here. That curve descends like this and then just drops off the chart. So when we are what we're trying to do now is improve our skill level in this region up in here. What we're trying to do actually is learn to play fast and then make fast the normal speed. So I can improve my foot speed and I can practice dribbling when I'm running fast. And then eventually that becomes the new normal. And now my normal is fast. And now I'm getting better because I'm not locked into those. So what I want to do is engage in deliberate practice where I am executing perfectly. So when I'm slow is smooth. I can be very, very balanced and perfect control and perfect muscle memory, and I'm not inducing any mechanical errors into my technique. And then I can, once I am very smooth, I can increase the slow a little bit, and then in practice, I'm going slow, a little, and I'm smooth, a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster, but always concentrating on being slower than I think I have to be. My skill level will go up asymptotically. And then when I start adding speed to it, yeah, I get some skill decay, but because I started at such a high level, I have a competitive advantage when I am faster. What will happen when you really concentrate on being smooth is that your speed will increase without even trying. And so when we say slow is smooth, that smoothness becomes fast naturally. And you can extend your little skill level into the normal range where it's a little bumpy, but you're already operating at a much higher level skill because of your emphasis on going slow. So when we do the bar by bar, we're not locked into time, and what we're doing is we are concentrating on perfect execution. To see what that feels like and to groove that swing, to groove the skill. And then we want to grease that groove with endless repetition, muscle memory, automatic behavior, feeling the feelings, and then trust your feet. That works in soccer. It works in judo, jiu-jitsu, and trading. I will tell you, everybody who has gone through the bar-by-bar trading in public is trading at a much higher level of proficiency noticeably. Ken H., Luis, you've experienced some of that. Lisa has done it. I've done it. Everybody I've trained in that way, in every sport, every skill. That's the logic behind slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Concentrate on excellent technique by going slow and mastering the skill, and then the speed will come. And that's what you do in trading, by the way. The way to get faster is whatever you find out, whatever speed you can manage comfortably. And we're going to see an example of that with Luke tonight. So let's suppose that I have a 10-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a 3-minute chart, a 1-minute chart, a 300-tick chart. And I take a standard pattern, and I'm trading on the 10-minute comfortably, and I want to get faster so that I can get in front of that 10-minute chart. And so I tried deliberately to go to the 3-minute chart. And it feels, oh man, that is too fast for me to handle. I can't make all those judgments in time. And you practice and you practice. It's just not coming. So then you just dial it back to the 5-minute chart. And the 5-minute chart is so much slower than the 3-minute chart. There's 2 extra full minutes. And then you find yourself able to execute comfortably on a 5-minute chart. And now you're getting twice as many opportunities on the 5-minute as you did on the 10-minute. Aha. By going back 2 and then up 1, you actually went from 10-minute to 5-minute. Whereas if you went from 10 to 5, it would still seem too fast. So you overtrain that with a smaller position size. And then you ease back into the area. So you have almost like these regions where you can be very slow and then noticeably fast and then come back to the new normal. Well, when the 10-minute was the normal, 5 minutes would have felt fast. So you overshoot that to 3 and then ease back to the new normal of 5. And so you progress in that way. And then what I would do is go to the 5. From the 5s, I would go to the 1s. And then the 3 would feel very easy. Could you go from 10 minutes to 1 minute? Yeah, that might be too fast. So your mileage may vary. But that technique, relentlessly applied, is how you reduce your time frame exposure. And then you can train by going slow and being smooth until you can make a smooth decision cycle. So if we think about the John Boyd OODA loop, which is observe, orient, decide, act. That's the mindset and the process. Observe, orient, decide, act. That's called the OODA loop of John Boyd. He was a fighter pilot, and this has become well known and adopted in decision-making circles. We can observe a pattern, orient to the appropriate set of rules, decide on what to do, and then act. The faster we can make those decisions, the greater advantage that we have. If we can't go through all of those cycles by the time the next bar forms, then we are out of sync with our time frame. And so we have to either speed up our cycling or go to a longer period of time. There's an advantage to the shorter time frame that you can go to because you get more good decisions made faster. If I'm good at decision making, I want to make as many good decisions as I can because I get a little incremental advantage on every decision that I make that's good. In the same way that if you have a positive expectancy system, you want to trade that at a low enough level of risk so that you can take every possible signal so that you get the expectancy of the system and not get conflicted by the noise or friction. Well, By learning how to improve our OODA loop, our decision making, by learning how to require just enough information to make the decision, I don't have to learn everything. I just have to manage the minimum mission essential information. What is the minimum amount of information that I need? Minimum mission essential information in order to make a decision. That's the diamond is a decision, yes or no. What's the decision I make? So by reducing my inputs to the minimum required, like for me, that's getting rid of the candles and the colors and just going to the bars. And now I just use the simplified RL10 and the baby dragon instead of worrying about the price bar. So it's even less and less information required to make a good decision. And so by concentrating on those things and emphasize being slow and deliberate to build the muscle memory, you can then become smooth and orderly in your decision making. And when you're confident on that, now you can speed up that cycle, and then that smoothness will help you become faster without the loss of skill. That's what we mean by deliberate practice. That is what instructional coaching does. The entire literature on instructional coaching has to do with taking a process where you have some kind of process P that you want to improve on and breaking it down into its components analytically, and then improving each one, getting rid of the waste and streamlining your production system, whether it's to make a decision or to make a part or to take an action. Instructional coaching is how we learn how to do process analysis and improve the value add of each little component, and then the resulting decision-making process is improved. So, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And that's what we learn from soccer, judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, combat command, trading.